Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Money Conversations with KJ. I'm your host, KJ, and this is my lovely wife, Kathy. Hey, Kath.
Hello. How everybody doing?
Great. Today, guys, we want to talk about living paycheck to paycheck. Wow. In today's world, more and more people are living paycheck to paycheck. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
I mean, with this recession upon us and, you know, people just struggling to make their basic bills, right?
Yeah.
And why is that? Why do people live paycheck to paycheck?
Well, one reason is they're not budgeting themselves.
You know, you're right. And we find that out because, I mean, I remember before we budgeted, right, that you don't know where to start, right? Mm-hmm. Where should I start? Or some people do, I call it mind budgeting. They think like, okay, I'll pay, I'm getting paid. I'll choose round numbers. My paycheck's $1,000. I got to do $500 toward the mortgage or rent and groceries. And then they just do in their heads and they think I got $200 left over or $100 or whatever it is. Right.
Yeah. And that's easy to forget some things.
Yeah. You forget things. Right. And so what's one of the first things we should all do when we get our paychecks?
Pay yourself.
It's exactly right. Because if you pay yourself first, guys, what happens is over time, obviously, right? You're paying yourself first and you'll have money in the bank. So when things happen, things are getting more expensive. Maybe you get hurt, you get laid off, whatever. We want to get ourselves first into the situation of being financially secure, right? Share with everybody what financially secure means. So financially secure means when you have all of your expenses for at least 6 months put away into a separate account that is accessible to you when you need an emergency, right? Because emergencies happen, right?
Right.
Maybe a transmission went out on your car and you didn't expect it. But how often do emergencies happen?
Almost daily. Yeah,
They
can happen at any time.
Yeah, they can happen at any time. But I mean, for us, we're just regular people that, you know, every month it seems we're paying for something we didn't anticipate, right? It's just something. And I think most people are that way, where just every month you could think about it. Just think back. What expense did I have that as I want to try to track my expenses? And we can all do the basic ones, which are real easy. You know what your mortgage/rent might be, your car payment, your insurance, your utility bills, depending on the time of the year. You know basically what those things are, right? But then things pop up like,
Your car.
Something goes wrong with your car and you got like a mechanic bill that could be, even if it's just one tire or, oh shoot, it's time to change the set of tires on the car, which is about every 2 years, right? But most people don't like put the money away just for a set of tires. So you got to have it. So, you know, these are the reasons why people live paycheck to paycheck, because you're not budgeting your money and really putting money in vehicles to put away to have for the AKA rainy day, right? What are some of the other reasons you think that people are struggling out there?
They're not setting their goals.
You know, I love teaching goals because I think if people realized that setting your goals is a roadmap to your financial future, it so really is, and people don't understand that, right? It just it's a mindset that we have to have this mindset shift, I believe, to if I set my goals and I follow them, then you'll and budget together those things. What happens?
Then you've got money.
You've got money, right? You're not going to worry about it. And what about the people out there that argue and say, "Hey, I don't make enough money"?
Well, then I think you should probably educate yourself to get a better job.
Well, you get a better job, or just start living within your means.
True.
Right? You've heard that term, live within your means. Which living within your means means what? Understanding.
Not overspending, not buying things you don't need.
Right? I mean, really learning about your wants versus your needs, right? And most people spend money on what?
Wants.
On the wants, right? I want to go to dinner tonight. I want those, you know, expensive pair of shoes, or I want to go out of town this weekend. But do you need those things?
No, you don't.
Right? And I think if people start to live within their means until they, you know, make more money, whether it's a better paying job or a side hustle. I mean, a lot of folks now in today's world will do a side hustle to make extra money because they don't make enough money.
Right.
Right. But what do they usually do with that money?
Then they spend it.
Right. I mean, it's just, I can share with you, we're both in the real estate business, and I see so many agents out there, they start making money, more money. And what happens the more money they make?
The more they're spending.
Yeah, their lifestyle goes up. They want nicer cars, nicer clothing, a nicer home, right? And so, again, those are all wants. I want all those things before they actually put themselves in a financial comfortable position where you can afford those things. I mean, I want everybody to have all of those things that we're discussing. For sure, we want everybody to have that stuff. But I think we have to be patient as people when you're out there working, that pull back. Just pull back on those wants, you know. I taught that lesson to my youngest daughter, Faith, right? We talked to her, and what did she tell me last year?
Dad, you're always in my head.
Right? I'm like that little person on her shoulder when she's out shopping. She says like, Dad taught me, do I need this, right? Is this a want or a need? And I mean, that thrilled me when she told me that, because one,
you knew she was paying attention.
She was paying attention when I taught her, and she's very well. She's 23 years old. She has her own place, making equity, right? She's got her own condo she bought on her own, and she does not stress about money. Right, because that's the lesson I taught her. Very first lesson. I never wanted her to experience
struggle.
I never wanted her to experience the feeling of being broke. Right, and you guys that are out there that are listening, that you know that gut feeling when you're broke, you're like, man, I can't pay that bill until payday, or man, payday comes, I still don't have enough to pay that. That broke feeling in our guts. Oh, it's a horrible feeling. It really sucks, and that's what happens then. We stress, right, and then now you start stressing, and then now your health is affected, right, because stress will affect you health-wise, right?
It affects a lot of things, relationships,
all kinds of stuff. So I think it really goes back to, you know, learning how to budget is really it. But I mean, we understand, when do they teach us how to budget?
They don't.
They don't really. I think sometimes in high school, I can remember back, maybe they talked about it, and they might have showed us a quick little lesson.
Yeah, probably briefly, but
Nothing in depth.
no.
You don't remember anything in school being in depth about
what I learned about in school with money is how to write a check. That's it.
And now people don't even write checks anyway.
No.
Right? Everything's paid digitally. So we're talking about when you and I were in school, which was a long time ago. So, but I don't imagine they teach that lesson anymore, you know, how to write a check out. But, you know, I sure leave in the comments if you're under the age of, say, 25 and you're listening to this or watching this. Share what they teach you in school about money. I mean, again, they taught us, but I've been out of school 40 years, how to write a check. They talked about you need a budget. They did some quick budget, you know, fundamentals. But how can people budget today? Where can they learn this?
You can go online. There's plenty of resources.
There's a lot of resources. I'll give you guys, there's one out there that I think most people have heard. There's an app you could download, Mint, M-I-N-T. Right, you can go online, mint.com.
Go on your phone.
You can go on your phone. They have a free version and they have a paid version. Right, paid version more in depth, going to get really detailed in your budgeting. But you could do your basic budgeting on that app for free. Right, it's all about plugging in all of your information. I mean, how you get debit card or credit cards or any way that you spend your money. And I highly recommend doing that, and don't use cash, because if you use cash, then you have to manually put that in. And if you use mainly your cards, right, that app tracks it for you automatically in categories, meaning like it'll tell you how much money you spend on food. It'll tell you how much money you spend online. Let's say you buy stuff on Amazon, right? It'll tell you on merchandise, online merchandise, right? It'll tell you your utilities, right? You spent this on utilities. If you pay, and some people do, but I don't think a lot of people do, pay their rent/mortgage with a credit card. I know that people who rent, a lot of those places will let you pay with them with a card, right? Usually it's a debit card or whatever. But anyway, my point is that you don't have to go in there and figure out, hey, where did I spend my money? Because at the end of the month, Mitch will tell you, and they break it down in percentages. So if you look back in there and you're like, holy moly, I spent 27% of my money this month on food, on going out.
Or having Uber deliver it.
Deliver it.
Uber Eats.
Or use an Uber, like, you know, using too much Uber. You're going to too many places, right? The point is that they track it for you. Then you can literally see, and if you know you're spending too much money in whatever category, you got to pull it back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You got to pull it back. Another reason I think that some of you guys are out there maybe living that paycheck to paycheck is that you're commingling money, right?
Yeah.
What should they do not to do that?
You should have a separate account for your savings and a separate account for your checking.
Well, absolutely. And a lot of times you should have another account, like I say, to be financially secure. That's putting away 6 months of your expenses, right, into an account in case, like when COVID happened, in 20 and people got laid off and stuff. But that should be another separate account, right? Because we don't want to touch those dollars until it's emergencies happen. Like something happens in your life, you got hurt, laid off, whatever, and you want to still be able to pay your bills. So your savings account, right? Your checking account is for you're writing your bills out, right? You're paying your stuff with that. Your savings account is for your short, mid, and long-term goals. Right.
Yes.
And I even recommend sometimes, guys, you may need a separate account. Again, let's not commingle money. Separate account. Let's say you're not a homeowner yet, and you want to be a homeowner, and you've got to save, usually minimum 3% plus closing costs. But let's just say it's 5%. Let's just say it's a $300,000 house. 5% down is $15,000. Right. I would personally open a separate account that is strictly to fund the down payment for the house that I want to buy.
Yes.
And then when you're budgeting, you're like, hey, I can put away, let's just say, let's use round numbers. You make $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month. And let's say after going through and all of your bills are $3,400 a month, and you have $600 that you think you can put away, right? That should be broken down into different buckets. I'm saving for my house. That's one bucket over there. Oh, I'm saving for maybe a vacation, right? Maybe your family lives in a different city. You want to see them once a year, the holidays or whatever. I need that money over here. And just go down the line, right? And now some people would say, well, that's too many bank accounts to keep track of. What do you say to that?
Oh, I don't think so. Not especially if you're not touching them.
If you're not touching them, or what about if people say, well, I don't want to pay those monthly, fees to keep that account open?
There's online accounts.
Yes, exactly. Online accounts are like almost nothing, $2, $2.50 a month or something. Trust me when I share with you, if you had to pay, even if you had to pay the $10 a month fee for these accounts, in the long run, you're saving money.
Yes.
Right? Let's not trip over dollars to save dimes, right? Go ahead and spend that, whatever it may be, but go online. Do those online ones, right? Those are great. You don't have to go to the brick and mortar. You don't have to go down to the corner, whether it's a Wells Fargo or B of A or whatever, any of those, right? I think that's a great way to start your budgeting, is figuring out your goals, right? And then from your goals, you're like, okay, I want to put money away. I got to pay all my bills, right? Most of my money goes here, and then it should get dispersed. And when should you do that?
Do what?
Disperse your money.
Oh, as soon as you get paid.
Yeah, the minute you get paid.
Yeah.
Because we talked about, like Warren Buffett says, right? You got to pay yourself first.
Yes.
You have to pay yourself first. There's nobody more important. And every time you put money in those buckets, guys, that's you paying yourself first. Right? So if you know out of the month that you're going to put $600 away, right? That's about that's $150 a week. So if you get paid weekly, it's $150 a week, right? If you get paid every other week, then it's, $300 every paycheck. But just put that money in there, and then you pay all your bills, right?
Yes.
If you're short at that point, you may need maybe a couple of adjustments or whatever. Or what do people do if like, hey, I make $4,000 a month and my bills are $4,000 a month and I can't save or put money away? What should they do?
Get a side hustle.
Yeah, right. And in today's world, think about the side hustles that are available today compared to when you and I were kids.
Right. There's
online, unmentionable. Right. I mean, I was watching one today. And again, pardon me when I tell you kid, right? Because anybody under the age, my oldest child's 39, and anybody under 39 to me is a kid. So I was watching this kid on YouTube today who was about 23 years old, made $10 million last year.
What? How do you do that?
His side hustle started putting videos out on YouTube and grew it from there.
Wow.
And he had a job, but he's got laid off from his job. And he told himself, hey, when he had 10,000, he was going to start his YouTube career. And he got laid off. He said he had 7,000. He goes, I'm going to go for it now. I got 7. I got enough to last me a couple of months. So I got a couple of months to get this thing going.
He had to go in hyperspeed.
And he did. And he went out there and did some amazing things. The kid makes $10 million last year.
Wow.
Now, I'm not telling you he made and kept $10 million. He's got a big team because he has multiple levels of ways of making money online now. But the fact that he's 23 years old and went out there and figured out how to make $10 million last year online.
Wow.
Right. And just figure where he's going to be if he keeps going in 5 or 10 more years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and talk about time. The guy told me, he goes on, he says, no, 12 hours a day, making videos 12 hours a day.
Wow.
For 2 years. For 2 years, he did a video every single day, sometimes more than 2 videos in a day, but he did it 12 hours a day. So he made a commitment. So like most people, when they have their jobs, well, how long is their jobs?
8 hours.
I think in today's world, not even 8 hours, a lot of people don't work.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the service industry.
Oh, it's like 5 or 6.
5 or 6 hours, right? So that leaves a lot of time. So when people say, hey, I don't have enough time, to go do a side hustle, I say, you know what? We all have the same exact amount of time every day, 24 hours. Nobody gets more, nobody gets less. I don't care if you have no dollars or you're Warren Buffett and you got, $100 billion or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. We all get the same amount of time.
Right.
So utilize your time. And I always said, remember we talked about the time blocking exercise. Do you remember that one? Where if you time block, guys, there's certain times that we know we do, right? Number one, start off by understanding and knowing how many hours there are in a week so you can plan your week out.
Right.
168 hours in a week. And if you took a piece of paper and you put it in 4s and you blocked out, this is how much time I sleep, right? Figure it out. Now, everybody sleeps different. I only sleep 6 hours a day. That's all I can sleep. I'm 6 hours. I'm up, right? But some people sleep 8, 9, or even 10 hours.
10.
I know. It happens.
Wow.
I know. I couldn't sleep 10 hours if I had to.
No.
I just can't, my mind won't let me. But there are people out there. My point is, add them up. So let's say on average 8 hours, right? 8 times 8 is 64. So that's 64 hours of the week you're sleeping out of the 164, right? So that still leaves 104 hours. And you're like, well, okay, well, I go work 40 hours a week. Okay, tack on another, subtract 40. Now you got 64 hours, right? What am I doing with that time? Oh, yeah, I got commute time to work. All right, let's give you 30 minutes each way, an hour, 5 days a week. That's 5 more hours. You're at 59 hours. And keep backing that up, guys. I promise you, 9 out of 10 of you guys out there will find between 15 and 25 hours. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't tell you right now. I'm trying to time block where my time goes. And in that week, 15 to 25 hours. Or wow. I'm sorry. Yeah, 15 to 25 hours per week. So let's just say average 20 hours per week, right?
Wow.
That's 2 to 3 hours a day. You're either watching TV, you're just doing things that aren't being productive for you. If you're in the position of living paycheck to paycheck and you want to utilize every hour of the day to get ahead. Because if you don't, then who's to blame for you living paycheck to paycheck?
Yourself.
Right? And there's tools out there. Guys, I love helping people with this stuff. Leave some comments out there. Let me know what's going on. I'd love to help you. It's just about getting the right mindset, having the right path, right? Having the right path to get where you want to go will get you there. Yes. But not having a plan, not having
being disciplined,
a structured plan of how you want to get there. I always like to use a phrase, it's like driving your car blindfolded. God knows nobody should do that, right? But no, every time we get in our vehicles to go somewhere, we know where we're going. The minute you start your car, you have a destination. It could be school, work, the store, I'm going to see a friend, whatever it is, there's an actual destination. And you probably in your mind already know the streets you're taking, the route, right? Yep. You already know that because you've probably been there numerous times or something, right? If you treated your life like that financially, you would not live paycheck to paycheck. You just wouldn't, because
and if you didn't know you're going, you're looking at a map, which people should have a map.
Yeah, a map is your budget. Your budget is your map.
Yes.
Right? And so that's the key, guys. People that don't want to live paycheck to paycheck or having a hard time, it just starts with the fundamentals. Get a budget going, start tracking your money, start tracking your time. You can get ahead. And let me just be honest with you here. I'm not telling you this happens overnight either.
No, it's hard to do, but
yeah, simple, not easy, right? Yeah. Discipline, simple, not easy. How much time it takes? Everybody's different, right? What's your learning curve? I don't know. How much above or below your means are you living, right? There's a lot of variables in there, but that being said, we've got to be able to get our budgets, actually work on them. So guys, you can go to mint.com, just go online. There's just dozens of them out there that you can use that are free. Some of them cost a few bucks, and I mean, it's well worth the investment if you had to pay, I don't know, $20 a month even, right? To keep you on track.
Yes.
We saw last week, we saw online some gal selling those sheets, those, what do those sheets where you can keep track of everything.
Oh yeah, Excel. It was some kind of.
What was her name? What was her name?
I can't remember.
Yeah, this gal put together, and I'll put this in the link below because I'll find it for you. And anyway, she was selling spreadsheets. They weren't much. They were like $20.
Yeah.
Right. And all different types for goals, for your money, for everything. And
she formats them.
She formatted them all out. They could be right on your phone.
Plug everything in.
Yeah. Like, we'll go, maybe you're standing in line, killing some time. Go on your app, see where you're at. Maybe you're sitting in a doctor's office, killing time. I mean, there's plenty of times during the week when we're just having to kill time.
Yeah.
Even if it's only 2 or 3 minutes to go in on the app and check it out and see like, hey, wow, I didn't know I just did this last week. I need to make an adjustment, kind of a thing. So listen, I mean, I think we gave some good takeaways there.
I think so.
I hope
it help somebody out there.
We're all different. We all have different problems, but the commonality is we know right now it's somewhere in the area of 70% of America is living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 people.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that way.
And do me a favor, guys. When you get this down, right, when you're like, okay, I'm going to go implement this. I want to get out of stop living. You've got to do what? You've got to share this information.
Yes.
You got to go tell your family, your friends, whoever you think or know that's living paycheck to paycheck. Like, guys, I just watched this video. I'm going to implement this. I'm going to get out of this cycle. It's a bad cycle to be in. It's tough. It's stressful. It's not unhealthy. So, all right. So we'll catch them on the next one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hope you had a good takeaway here, and we'll talk more about this. We'll keep it going. Let's just keep helping you guys with this money thing. All right. Talk to you guys on the next one. All right, guys, listen, if you like what you're hearing so far, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and also smash the like button and then hit the notification bell, because once you subscribe and you hit that notification bell, then every time we make a new one, guess what? You guys are going to be notified and you get to come and listen to the trainings that we're going to give you guys. So don't forget, hit that subscribe button. All right, thanks.